renting your house, selling your house. What should you do? What's the financially smart decision? Stay tuned to the blog post for more. Hey, real estate friends, Mike Gold here with RE/MAX Alliance. Let me know if this sounds a little bit like you. You are in a fantastic equity position in your home. You've been thinking about getting into the real estate game and subsequently taking your current residence and converting it into a rental, because now is the time for you to make a decision and move into a different house, whether that's upsizing or downsizing or somewhere in between. So when I sit down with my clients and we do a consultation, which I highly encourage you to do because I'm going to be going over a lot of information on a very 30,000 foot perspective on it. So the first question in which that I sit down and I ask is, are you going to be okay as a landlord versus as a homeowner? Because let's face it, tenants will treat the home differently than more than likely how you are currently doing. And if any of the things that a tenant may do over the course of a natural time period of occupancy will get you twisted up inside, then no, probably being a landlord is not in your best interest. You're probably better suited for other different types of investment vehicles. But if taking the emotional component out of your home and turning it into a rental is okay by you, then let's go on to step number 2. And that is, how are you going to be accessing that capital to be able to make that move? Because for vast majority of folks that I talk to that are in this situation, a good chunk of change is in their current house and they need to tap that equity in order to be able to make that move. So the first answer to that question is known as a home equity line of credit, where they can utilize their current mortgage that's in place, keep ideally what should be a low interest rate, and then utilize a line of credit to be able to establish whether or not they have enough equity in that house and qualify for that new house based upon the line of credit to be able to make that next move. The other option and scenario is doing what's known as a cash out refi. Cash out means that not only are you going to be refinancing the mortgage that you have in place, but you're then going to take the equity that you have in the form of a cash out refi. Again, in both of those scenarios, when you're looking to qualify for your new home, there are some additional obstacles. So check in with your lender to establish your payment process and if you can qualify for the new house based upon those two different types of scenarios. Point number 3 is, what do the margins look like? Everyone's financial game is a little bit differently. So what I would then advise you is that we sit down and we take a look and we try to establish, what is your PITI payment going to look like? And is your rental income going to be able to cover your total house payment? Plus, are you going to be managing it yourself? So if not, then you've got management fees in which to forecast. Have you set aside enough money for capital reserves for things in the home that are ultimately going to need to be replaced over the course of time? Examples of this is going to be carpet, paint, and then other miscellaneous things that happen maintenance-wise. But pro tip for you, home warranties, a great way to ensure any sort of additional expenditures that come up unexpectedly. So in addition to the margins or your cash on cash return, what is your rate of return that you're getting on your other investments? Is it going to be equal, greater to than what you currently have or could get by converting your home into a rental? Also, too, something to think about, what does the principal reduction look like? Because that's also going to factor over a long period of time on what that rate of return looks like. So those are the 3 important questions, 30,000 foot perspective, you need to be thinking about when converting your house into a rental. Some things to think about, that it's probably better off for you to sell your house, and that is if point number 3 just doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not necessarily telling you that you absolutely have to have a greater rate of return that you're getting into the marketplace, because there's a lot of things that go into that equation. But if the numbers just don't make sense for you financially speaking, and there's just not enough margins for you, then yes, it's probably better off for you to be selling your house versus converting it into a rental. Also, point number 2 as to why you should sell versus turning it into a rental is that you're not willing to do the repairs that are required in order to garner a high quality tenant. If the home needs a lot of updates and repairs, it needs new carpet and paint, but you're just like, hey, I don't want to do this, I'm just going to go ahead and convert it into a rental. It has been my experience that the lower that the home looks in terms of its overall appearance, that is the same quality of tenant in which that is ultimately going to be buying your house. And again, on point number 2, if you're just not emotionally ready to be able to convert that house into a rental, and you don't have the money to fix it up and not going to have it over a period of time, then you're definitely going to want to sell your house versus renting it, because the market will absorb that faster, and over the long term it's better for you to sell it than to keep it as a long-term rental. Point number 3 is that you live in an area where the demand is relatively weak for rentals. If you're living anywhere in the greater Metro Denver Boulder area, you're going to be just fine. But as you start to get out into some of those more rural locations, converting your home into a rental may not be the greatest option for you, because even though the demand is relatively strong, and as you start getting into the outlying areas, you can still find renters. If the market were to change, that is going to be the first, that being the outlying areas, where vacancy rates are going to go up. And again, that kind of factors into some of the equations and the financials we were talking about before. So again, Mike Gold here with RE/MAX Alliance. We covered a lot of really big information on a 30,000 foot perspective. If you're thinking about converting your home into a rental and just don't know what to do, whether to rent it out, whether to sell it, I recommend that you give me a phone call, shoot me an email, or drop me some very specific questions in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer them for you and then help you out with your specific real estate questions and needs. Until next time.